Hello and welcome back to another episode of MoJo JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm Raven.
I'm Alison.
And today we're going to be discussing the episodes Monkey See, Doggie Do, and Mommy Fearest. But first up, a few things we forgot to talk about last week. So first off, there is a new Powerpuff Girls comic coming from Dynamite Entertainment by Kelly Thompson and Paulina Ganuccio. It's supposed to come out in July. It's rated teen, and each issue is standalone. Another thing I forgot to bring up last time is I have themed questions for each episode. And so the themed questions were going to be, what swarm of insects would you be most freaked out to be chased by? And if the Powerpuff Girls actually were villains, who would be the scariest? So for me, I think the swarm of insects that would freak me out the most would probably also be roaches. There's just something about them. They just look so greasy. It grosses me out. Or maybe bot flies. Because, you know, they lay their eggs in your skin.
I don't like when any insects are like in large groups, but probably for me it would be stinging insects since I am allergic.
And so I think probably actually the scariest if the Powerpuff Girls were villains would probably be Bubbles. I think you just don't see that coming. And so she's the scariest. And then just based on a later episode, I think secretly sweet little Bubbles, maybe she has a dark side. Who knows?
Yeah, her sweetness might be hiding some fierceness, maybe.
Okay, so I am going to start talking about the first episode in our segment, Monkey See, Doggie Do. I guess apparently it is one of the creator Craig McCracken's favorite episodes of the show. So the episode starts at nighttime. Everyone is asleep except for one person who steals the Anubis head statuette and jewels in the middle of the night. A little detail I liked, showing everyone's like nighttime routine, was that Buttercup, she punches the air in her sleep. So the jewels are stolen, the girls are called in, and they literally tear up the museum, looking for clues. As they're doing that, the thief is revealed to be MoJo JoJo. So a little trivia about MoJo JoJo. His repetitive speech pattern was inspired by DC's Super Dictionary, and here are a few examples of the Super Dictionary that I found on the Thanks I Hate It subreddit. When no one was looking, Lex Luthor took 40 cakes. He took 40 cakes. That's as many as 4 tens, and that's terrible. Batman to Robin. Did you hurt yourself? Did you hurt your own body? Can you get home by yourself? Can you get home alone? To which Robin responds, please help me. MoJo JoJo is, of course, voiced by Roger L. Jackson, who also voices Ghostface in the Scream movies.
Ooh.
So the girls look for further clues outside of the museum, and they find a dog trapped in a car. A talking dog. The Powerpuff signal lights the sky up, and the girls head for the mayor's office to discover that the mayor and Miss Bellum are turning into dogs. The mayor is mainly, he has like his head on a tiny dog body, and Miss Bellum's face is shown to turn into that of a dog. There's just so many little gags about how we never get to see her face. So anyways, while the girls are dealing with that, MoJo runs through town turning everyone into dogs, including the narrator. He uses the Anubis head and jewels to control Townville's newly canine citizens and get them to steal from the city. So then the girls head home and the professor has been turned into a dog. And I liked that even as a dog, he still had his little pipe in his mouth.
He looked sort of pixelated to me. He was very squared off. His ears were perfect little triangles. He didn't look like a smooth, organic dog shape.
Yeah. So the girls are trying to get the professor to tell them who's been turning the town into dogs. And all the while, MoJo's Doggie army is stealing every jewel in town. He finally gets his fill of jewels and uses them to amplify the power of the Anubis jewels, and uses the periscope, for lack of a better word, on top of his volcano lair to turn the whole world into dogs. The girls get there just in time to be turned into dogs themselves. MoJo is very pleased with himself, but accidentally gives away that breaking the statuette that holds the jewels will break the enchantment. And then there's a nice little montage of people around the world turning into dogs. There's people in France kissing, a guy eating sushi, a sleeping cop, and an Inuit dude ice fishing. The girls fight MoJo's minions, and they win, and they decide to gang up on MoJo JoJo. Buttercup bites him in the butt, making him trip and fall off the stairs. And the Anubis head breaks against its helmet, breaking the spell for everyone around the world. A little gag I thought was funny was that everyone turns back into themselves and goes back to their activities, but the guy eating sushi is now naked and licking the sushi. While everyone else turns back into a human, MoJo becomes a dog. Later, back at their house, the girls ask the professor if they can keep him, to which the professor replies, "It's a big responsibility keeping an evil villain in the house. You've got to feed him, water him, take him for walks, keep him from causing mayhem and chaos and chewing the furniture." So my themed question for this episode is, what kind of dog do you think the Anubis head would turn you into? So I don't know. I'm more of a cat person, so I'm not sure exactly what type of dog matches my temperament, but it might be cool to be a husky or a German shepherd.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is maybe like an Irish setter. I think they've got some majestic red hair, and I think they're kind of like a bigger, calmer, gentle dog. I was gonna point out, like, it didn't matter to them, like, who the dog was. They were just, especially Bubbles, was just psyched that there was, like, a puppy! And then also just all throughout the episode were different dog phrases, like doggone and fetch and mutts were sprinkled throughout the episode.
Alright, if you're ready to talk about Mommy Fearest, we can start there.
Okay, so Mommy Fearest. In the city of Townsville, it is 7 p.m. and bedtime for the Powerpuff Girls, who are watching TV Pet Pals, which can also be seen on Dexter's Laboratory. The girls are flying around, getting ready for bed, and we see Bubbles in her undies. They all snuggle into bed together, and Bubbles has her stuffed octopus. She needs the door cracked so there is light from the hallway. We see lonely Professor goes to bed, and he's sad. The next day, they all shop at the market and bump into the beautiful Miss I'm a Good Lady. Professor is speechless. The girls set up a date for them for 7 p.m. on Friday. When Friday comes, they help Professor get ready, in a tuxedo no less, while the mayor babysits. At 11 p.m., the professor comes back, with Ima, to live with them. And she is mean. She insists they clean without using their superpowers. Ima makes their bedtime earlier, and Professor sides with her. He can't resist her feminine wiles. She even takes Bubbles' octopus. They sneak out to fight crime at night and are grounded by Ima when they get back. She cries and lies to the professor when the girls complain, and he takes Ima's side. Ima sneaks off, and then the girls get a call that the mayor is being robbed by Sedusa. They suspect Ima of the crime. When she gets back, they fight and take off her disguise. Then Professor subdues Sedusa. A pretty lady from the neighborhood shows up, and the girls move in to attack. Fade to black. So, Mommy Fearest originally aired in November of 1998. In this episode, we are introduced for the first time to Sedusa, who is voiced by Jennifer Hale, who also voices Princess Morbucks and Miss Keen. Mommy Fearest is a play on Mommy Dearest, which was a 1981 movie about an abusive stepmother. So my question is, what villain would you secretly want to be? I think I would want to be someone like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. The suit and the whip and the 9 lives, and I like cats. I'd be a mail lady by day and a Catwoman at night.
So this one is probably very obvious to you, because around when the Avengers came out, I was the most obnoxious Loki stan. I just kind of related to the character a lot. Just like, sometimes I just felt like I was just left out and stuff, and it would make me angry. It wouldn't make me like as angry as him, but also he has like cool magical powers, he can like replicate himself. Some other trivia I wanted to point out is that this episode briefly appeared in M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable and an episode of the TV show Everwood, which I'm not familiar with. It was, I believe, on the WB before the WB merged with another network and became the CW. And of course, like, the mayor would babysit, because we all know Ms. Bellum is the one who was taking care of the town, and so she probably wasn't available.
Yeah, I was kind of questioning that, because he probably, I mean, he's huge fans of the girls, but would he be able to control the situation very well? I don't think so.
Yeah, and he also fell asleep on the couch too. And when the professor shook him awake, he said, "My life is a lie." So I'm just like, what kind of dreams is that man having? So next week we will be discussing our next 2 combined episodes, which will be Ahti Evil and Gazoon Fight. Yeah. If you're listening to this on your podcatcher of choice, it'd be really cool if you could follow us, maybe rate us. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, it would be really cool if you could hit the like and subscribe buttons and maybe leave a comment about what you thought of the episodes. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.